This video is intended to describe a lightblade wand named Coherence. Joining me today will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map, which I'll be referencing quite a bit for this entire crystalline tour. And without further ado, I shall describe the primary blade band scaffolding, seen like so, which vaguely resembles a figure 8 by design for energetic recirculation of a closed-loop reactive device such as this lightblade wand. Starting off with the transmutation scaffolding, seen right here, which is a particular ratio of both hematite and smoky quartz. Hematite is an iron-based mineral that firmly grounds all excessive stray radial energies through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing. In tandem with smoky quartz providing the same energetic stimulation function to indeed encourage the firm grounding of excessive stray radial energies, like etheric composting if you would, to work in tandem to take all excessive stray radial energy firmly grounded into the root chakra, into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing. So the two together can be considered the transmutation ratio to provide very strong etheric dialysis of perpetually regrounding energy in the earth for reprocessing. Hence the transmutation of energy of negativity into positivity by swiftly discharging a constant rate, as well as it plays a critical role to take the entirety of the excessive amount of crystal seen right here and firmly give it a grounding pathway to ensure the energy gets into the earth to, of course, make the magic real of this very highly complexive little device. So like I mentioned, this would be the transmutation scaffolding. Now getting into the primary blade band, hence it has the name Coherence based on a particular ratio of a coherent field alignment broadcast. With clear quartz, seen right here of 1, 2, 3, and 4, going into rutilated quartz, which is actually clear quartz with bands of rutile in it, which work as a massive accelerant of other frequencies in this sequence, before it completes and grounds back into the transmutation scaffolding, to encourage the grounding of this entire high-frequency threshold to increase the tangibility. To make the magic real is one of my favorite phrases of all time, so I'll be saying that quite a bit in this video, I'm sure. So from the rutilated quartz to work as a massive accelerant, going into purple fluorite. Purple fluorite is a fantastic third eye stimulant. It also brings extreme coherence of the left and right hemispheres of the prefrontal lobes, aka whole brain thinking, or coherent alignment of the whole third eye activation. Be very coherent and clean and very, very encouraging to mitigate chaos or chaotic disparate emanations for that matter, to bring cohesive harmony. So this quite simply is a quintessential crystal in the mineral kingdom of bringing chaos into order, which is very, very effective for a coherence frequency platform. Then right here would be golden healer quartz, which is a quintessential gold-white light, high heart source alignment frequency, but it's a very clean attunement to the source of creation, which is very, very advantageous, self-evidently to say, for a metaphysical engineered device of vibrational engineering, that is. Of course, having a clean source alignment attunement goes a very long way. Then going into the lovely classic lapis lazuli, which is a very, very famous blue ray crystal of the wind elemental concentration to stimulate the 5th and 6th chakras in a very precise way to empower one's sovereign true nature made conscious to the conscious self. As well as it was a classic crystal utilized by the Egyptian pharaoh caste, the Magi, you name it. It has quite the famous lore around lapis lazuli in world history, which I will omit to consolidate this video as much as possible because there's already a tremendous amount to cover for this entire dissertation. But the aspect of lapis being here as well is a very powerful sovereign, higher truth engagement, which is very much a classic crystal of magical antiquity through millennia, of at least our recorded history, that is. Then once again, going into the rutilated quartz, the purple fluorite, the golden healer quartz, and so on in the ignition sequence before it grounds back into the transmutation scaffolding to take the excess high frequency overture pitch of this frequency and ground it into the most grounding platform. Of course, is the perfect antithesis of high vibration to ground the earth to once again make the magic real. So that'd be the primary blade band scaffolding, see like so. Then the aspects of the lateral band of transmutation, this lateral band, as well as this auxiliary lateral band down here, consisting of Clear quartz as a neutral accelerant of the energy node ignition sequence seen right here, going into sunstone, a very fantastic sacrum and solar plexus stimulant of great confidence and very, very sunny, good vibrations, quite simply. Very much a crystal of enthusiasm, abundance, and confidence, and just all around good vibrations. Going into clear quartz to neutrally accelerate the energy into tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is a very fantastic solar plexus, sacrum, and root chakra activator, but most importantly, it works as an impeccable alignment lower three to ensure the lower three are in perfect continuity patch, which is very good for physical vitality and aspects of, once again, confidence and rooted grounded, which is very helpful for such a high frequency little pocket rocket such as this. This crystal pistol, very small but very powerful, about 8 inches or 21 centimeters, is quite potent in its capacity for what it is. So, of course, a little bit of lower frequency aspects of the lower three work as a great contingency. So now that the entirety of the blade band scaffolding has been mentioned, I'll be discussing the purpose of the leather. So the leather of these constructs is far more than aesthetic. So the aspect of these hand bands shall be concealed by this lovely lapis royal blue leather seen like so, as a little bit of an example. Obviously not up to standards of specifications of completion yet, but at least it gives the idea. So the aspect right here of the blue leather is a very powerful color therapy resonant fortifier of the 5th chakra, which is very advantageous for the primary focus of the higher coherent truth engagement of oneself. And the aspect also works to insulate the energy so that the energy of these handbands right here is more focused. So the energy is more condensed as it goes through its entire sequence, so that when it completes the sequence of energy through the entire construct, it goes to the front side, sharpens more focusedly, as well as the back side. So it's also taking the excess energy that would be leaking and focusing it that regard as well. So that indeed is the purpose of the leather on the handle that will be installed correctly once this video is completely done, of course. But the aspect that I wanted to really reiterate is that this is far more than aesthetic. It has a distinct functional purpose for the vibrational engineering endeavor of this Coherence wand. Same thing with this white leather seen like so as an example. So this entire section of the engine is quite complex, and this will be concealed by this white leather for a very distinct purpose. So with these tremendously intricate networking of various crystals into this entire section, we'll have the very important focus of taking this white leather to once again insulate all the crystals. Try to do my best for this illustration purposes. Okay, that's good enough. So the white ray aspect, of course, is a combination of these 7 rays, the full spectrum of light in one color therapy resonance of leather, that is, to be a full unified field of energy. And also B, it works to, just like mentioned right here, to insulate the energy so the energy is not leaking as much as possible, to focus the energy further through the primary and handband blade bands to have a more efficient energetic continuity, which is quite essential. As well as in this situation, this can work as a way to protect all these crystals seen like so that they are very well secured as is being wielded as a lightblade wand. So it has many purposes, and once again, far more than aesthetic, but indeed is very functional for the purpose of the construct. Now that I got that out of the way, I'll be tackling the main engine section seen right here. So this right here is clear quartz. Clear quartz is a very classic, common, neutral ambient frequency crystal in the mineral kingdom that works very, very well to ambiently intensify or amplify the intentions of other frequencies. For example, someone wielding this with saying a prayer, could this be a great main heart or engine to be able to put the prayers through the entire construct so that the closed-up reactive circuit has a very powerful consciousness-assisted technology output. Then right here, at the very apex, would be Larimar. Larimar is a very fantastic 5th and 6th chakra stimulant that is of the aspects and elements of water and fire paradoxically. Oftentimes, those are diametrically opposed elements. So the aspect of the Larimar is a very powerful, soothing oasis of calm oceanic energy that is very, very calming and soothing to the system. So even a small dose goes a very long way for this entire closed-loop reactive circuit. So for this next section, since I broached these two so far, all these other crystals mentioned so far have been wire-wrapped, grounded to the primary wire, which serves as the main vein for this crystalline entity, to have all these other frequencies mentioned after this point will be grounded to this primary wire, seen like so, which completes a closed-loop reactive sequence. So every single crystal I mention this point forward will be almost like discussing the organs of the crystalline entity, for example. So that's a very important aspect too. So of course, with all these crystals terminating the primary wire seen right here, it works as a significant way to have all these crystals work in tandem through high yield vibrational compound interest. So they all work as a harmonic whole, as a collective. Okay, that's enough of that. Back on target. So down here is smoky celestial quartz, which plays a very pivotal role in this construct. Smoky quartz, like I mentioned, the blade band is very powerful grounding of frequencies into the earth. But the aspect of the celestial growth structure is where it gets its remarkable dissertation on its own right. So the aspect of the celestial has a certain growth pattern that has a very special energy alignment to the human auric field, which is quite essential in many constructs, and rather challenging to discuss in a very coherent linear fashion due to its excessively metaphysical application, as a forewarning. So the celestial structure also works as a perfect dimmer switch to auto-regulate the entire frequency pitch of the collective to be in a perfect equilibrium or optimum, basically perfect vibrations, and also like an auto-calibration to adjust the frequency pitch at the requirements of the wielder as well as whoever the wielder is serving, for example, which is quite ambitious thing to say. I'm receiving a phone call right now. I forgot to put on Do Not Disturb, so I got to power through. So the aspect also that's quite critical here is the aspect of the celestial working as a way to bring the entire frequency pitch into full comfortability and to ensure the entire idea of the energy is actually in a very balanced manner. I think that's enough far out aspects of that. I'll move on now. I digress quite often in these videos, naturally, because there's always much to discuss. So something more simple to tackle next in this dissertation will be right here, consisting of the jaspers and agates seen right here, which will be discussed in one tangent because of their critical synergized vibrational performance they have together. So the aspect of the jaspers and agates are the most stable vibrations in the mineral kingdom based on their color range and elemental correspondence. So red jasper is the quintessential earth elemental root chakra stabilizer in the mineral kingdom. Then going into fire agate, which is the most stabilized solar plexus, sacrum, and root chakra in the mineral kingdom, that of the lower three chakras, of fire that is. Then going into moss green agate seen right here, which is a water elemental green ray stabilization agent of the heart chakra. Then there is blue lace agate seen right here, which stabilizes the fifth chakra through a water elemental correspondence as well. Then holly blue agate seen right here, even though it's a violet ray agate, it's called holly blue based on its trade name, which works as a stabilization of the sixth and seventh chakras, that of wind. So the aspects of having earth, fire, and water in the most stabilized varieties possible is the most stable versions of the Lakota medicine wheel. Once again, earth, fire, water, and wind in the most stable platform possible for the entirety of the construct, which is very advantageous for longevity. Anyway, moving on once again. This would be Sedona Red Rock from the lovely Sedona, Arizona, which is a very high iron concentration holy site on the earth, hence its mineral has oxidized red due to the very high iron content, which gives it a very nice serendipitous grounding energizing boost through the entire construct. Like I mentioned, every crystal mentioned here has been wire wrapped to the primer wire, so this of course is running through an entire sequence of a collective of crystalline engineering. Then right here is malachite, which is a green ray fire elemental copper based stimulant of the third and fourth chakras, of a very powerful strengthening of energy, and of course very encouraging and very much a very shielding psychic protection energy as well, to encourage the more good vibrations, quite simply. Then right above that would be seraphinite. Seraphinite is a green ray crystal named after the seraphim archangels, which is a very powerful full light body activator from top to bottom, as well as it works very effectively to dismantle any patterns of dis-ease found in the system through sheer angelic rescue, quite simply. And a very, very big staple of my life's work at this point is the seraphinite, which of course very, very useful for full light body healing activations from top to bottom. Then, speaking of that, a close vibrational cousin I use quite often with that guy would be star argonite, seen right here, which is a calcium based, just like the seraphinite, full light body activator from top to bottom and bottom to top, vice versa, that works very quickly to dismantle any stagnancy stored in the field that be manifesting as a dis-ease in some variation. Then right here, this would be oceanic calcite that I harvested myself from the Oregon coast. So the aspect of clear calcite makes for a nice clearing of energy from the entire field as well. But what makes this truly remarkable and noteworthy for this video would be the aspect that the ocean has quite literally tumbled this crystal for decades, centuries, God literally knows. And the indelible mark of the ocean clearing capacity has shaped this crystal into what it is, which is a very nice oceanic clearing energy for the entirety of the construct. Then right here would be Mount Shasta serpentine, quite literally from my backyard right to my pen there's a riverbed where I got that guy, which is a very nice, once again, kundalini activator, which is very fortifying for the entire chakra column from bottom to top. Another master healer for that purpose. Then right here will be a very famous crystal named ruby. Ruby is the quintessential root chakra stimulant in the mineral kingdom and is a very, very famous, potent crystal of the corundum family, which means it has a titanium base and oftentimes a 9 out of 10 the hardness scale, which means this red ray crystal has among the densest vibrations in the mineral kingdom. Oh, my sneeze. Oh. God bless me. Pardon my digressions. So back to the ruby. So the aspect of the 9 out of 10 hardness gives a very dense atomical structure, which means the atoms of the red ray here are the strongest configuration just about in the mineral kingdom that can be utilized. Hence, it's a true precious stone that all mortals have heard of, with its unparalleled root chakra activation zest for life. Then right here would be black tektite. Black tektite is a product of meteorite impacting sand. Quite literally, this is a crystal of heaven meeting earth. And the tektite is the product of the sand being vaporized by a meteorite that impacts the earth with a cosmic jolt. So the aspect of black tektite is a black ray crystal, thank goodness, of celestial potency, which makes it a very powerful earth star raising of vibrations from the bottom up in a very, very visceral, tangible way. But like I said, luckily it's a foundational vibrational increase, so the raising of vibrations is from the grounded scaffolding to literally raise vibrations in a very comfortable setting. Hence it's a staple in virtually all light tech, despite its platform for its cosmic efficiency, quite simply, in a closed loop circuit. Then right here would be fulgurite. Fulgurite is petrified lightning. That is literally lightning striking sand, which carries the energy of lightning in a crystalline silica format. So that aspect also of lightning being literally harnessed through a crystal makes for a very powerful full light body activator as well, from top to bottom, as well as it was utilized by shamans of antiquity to intensify their prayers through resonance of lightning, to intensify their intentions for whoever they're serving at the time period of magic. So that aspect, of course, goes a very long way in this whole little guy seen right here. And I believe that would be the entirety of the engine mention, which once again, of course, once this is fully notarized, God willing, these will never see light of day again, hence they'll be concealed, and the hood has maintained its function. So it's good to have a very thorough discussion on the construct in here. Oh, I did miss one thing. This would be, of course, classic rose quartz, a pink ray high heart chakra activator, and a divine love resonator. That's quite common, thank goodness, and very, very much of the essence. So a little pink ray of love goes a long way. And now that officially would be the entirety of where the hood shall be installed. So moving back on to the transmutation handband scene right here, I'll be going into the blade facing scene right here, as well as the thumb engagement. So I'll discuss the thumb engagement right now and use this book to assist me on this journey to prop it up. So this right here would be the thumb engagement, which of course is designed to have the thumb engage like so. Pretty self-evident, but I'm very thorough. And the base of this thumb engagement would be Libyan gold tektite. Libyan gold tektite, this golden ray crystal, actually is a very mysterious crystal in creation that has celestial cosmic origins and was utilized by the pharaohs of antiquity for their power breastplates they'd wear as the Magi God Kings as part of the badge of their office. And so the aspect of Libyan gold tektite has a very profoundly powerful solar plexus and sacrum stimulation, yet its gold ray of illumination has a full light body activation as well, which is very, very vibrant and very sunny and very ridiculously joyful, basically, which is always an advantageous disposition. So that very special Libyan gold tektite is seen right there to be a very empowering sovereign aid, as well as another supportive, extremely positive vibration surrounding that entire frequency would be peridot and clear quartz. So the clear quartz seen right here works to neutrally accelerate this sequence in this closed loop circuit. Then the peridot is a fantastic third and fourth chakra stimulant of extreme expansion and growth, and essentially the equivalency of chlorophyll. How indeed all this happens of cycles of growth can be chlorophyll. So in crystalline format, I consider that a very powerful growth agent. So that would be the thumb engagement. Now I'll be discussing the rest of the blade face and making very good time for this dissertation at this point. So right here, and also of course mentioning one side, be mentioning the other one as symmetrically as absolutely possible for the cleanest compatible vibration for both sides of the blade face. Starting off with turquoise seen right here. Turquoise is a classic fifth chakra stimulant of great notarization and reverence among the humanity. Just like lapis lazuli, it's been a favorite of millions for thousands of years based on its beautiful color, of course, and its resonance of being that of earth, fire, water, and wind in one fifth chakra continuity, which makes it a true stone of wholeness in that capacity, as well as it has lore across the world besides just First Nation fame of a precious crystal, which I will admit because that'd be a whole long rabbit hole dissertation to get into. But the point is, this is another great stone of reverence and is a very powerful pranic generator as well that brings extreme harmony and soothing to the entire body, particularly through the fifth chakra focus, which of course can be a thermostat of the thyroid, which governs the excess energy into the ideal configuration. Pardon me, that's a little bit of a Christianese digression. I got back on target. I have that sometimes where I'll just, of course, discuss different aspects because I always have much to say, I suppose. Now, moving back on. So this right here, this love currency augmentation platform seen right here is on both sides, commissioned into existence by the lovely Wizard of Sedona, Mr. Stephen A. Ross. And to see right here, the coins both say, a beautiful heart, an open mind, and a humble spirit. With love, in love, and through love. So that would be, of course, both sides of the coin represented on this little lightblade wand, which I consider to be a very timeless, impeccable message, which is a great honor to incorporate in these feats of vibrational engineering. And this is another foray and an expansion of this basically becoming a modern magical sigil of magic of loving nature, which you can't go wrong with that. Then moving on To the very tip of the blade face right here will be lepidolite. Lepidolite is a very special violet ray crystal that is a very high potassium lithium concentration. What that means is that it has the most soothing effect on the emotional nervous system, which is a very powerful anti-anxiety agent. That is quite simply the frequency of absolute serenity, which is very helpful for sleeping and things of that nature, and also just a calm general disposition and a soothed nervous system. So this crystal is quite prominent in this because it has a very calming, soothing effect for this entire reactive device, which is quite critical for the purpose of this construct. Then I'll be discussing the selenites as well as the kyanites and the focalizers, and that'll be getting pretty close to the end of this dissertation. But first, I'll be discussing this oak core scene right here, which comes from my backyard here in Mount Shasta from my very good buddy right there, tip of my pen. Oak is a very, very good wood for the stability purpose of being a very dense grain, which also gives it a very dense atomical structure, which is a very nice way to have a carbon-based grounding element further in the construct to build this entire silica platform around to bring that high vibrational compatibility further into the earth range to once again encourage the magic being real. And oak, of course, is a very strong wood, so it's a very great choice because it's a wood that has a very dense profile that mitigates breakages, of course. So that's hence it's one of my favorite woods to utilize for many purposes, not to mention the lore of druids, kings, gods, and all those things which I will omit now to consolidate this video. But the point is, it's an oak core, seen as the primary core, as well as a secondary core screwed in to be able to house the engine for the clear quartz crystal main heart to be in direct alignment with the focus of the wood right here like so. That's me just being thorough as usual. And so hewn to this oak core would be the white selenite crystals seen right here, which have been shaped identically to match the wooden core seen right there. So selenite by itself is already a very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant that clears off debris between one's conscious self and one's higher self, which already makes it a very advantageous high vibrational healing crystal. And with that high frequency alignment, it also works as a purification, induction of high frequency energy alignment to transmute negativity by basically having a high divine contact patch and mitigating stagnant energies from top to bottom, which makes it a very purifying, healing, full-on light body master healer crystal. And the aspect that is quite critical about the selenite in conjunction with this collective is this feature. So in this nearly 27.5 minutes I've discussed all these individual crystals running in this sequence. The selenite plays a critical role here. As it runs in the entire closed loop reactive circuit, the selenite also takes this entire crystalline pitch mentioned thus far. It can work to purify all of these crystals in sequence. It can work to amplify all of these crystals in sequence, and perhaps most importantly, bring harmony and equilibrium to the entire crystalline group. So when I reiterate that triumphant trifecta, the selenite functions as a purification for all these crystals in a sequence at a very quick rate, as well as an amplification and a harmonization, which always serves as a very efficient spirit tool. Hence, the selenite is quite critical for that purpose of pure chic peak sheer efficiency, not chic efficiency. And next I'll be discussing the kyanites seen right here, which have been wired next to the selenite of black kyanite, orange kyanite, green kyanite, and blue kyanite. So before I discuss the individual kyanites, I will basically give a little preface of whimsically fast penmanship to discuss how quickly energy transfers with kyanite. So black kyanite is the most rapid energy transfer in the earth, absolute quick as possible, by a black ray to rapidly ground energy as a very, very powerful surge protector and a way to bring tangibility of energy, and also like another layer of etheric Teflon, discouraging for negative energies to stick to the field at a very quick ratio. Then right here would be orange kyanite. Orange kyanite is a very powerful sacrum stimulant to the highest degree that works very well to mitigate imprintations of limitation that would be bogging the system down or hurt one's creativity, quite simply. So it's a very, very effective creative confidence aid in that regard as well. Then green kyanite is the most rapid heart chakra transfer in the middle kingdom to bridge past blockages of any kind. Then blue kyanite is a very effective third eye stimulant to bring rapid transfer bridging of the right and left hemispheres in harmonized synchronization, aka the awakened third eye. So that makes for a very rapid transfer energy, as well as for the purpose of this construct, it also works another tremendous layer of etheric Teflon to mitigate, with all that rapid transference, to mitigate, once again, any bad vibrations to stick into the field, internally or externally, be highly discouraged by that much rerouting and rebuffering of energy, quite simply. As well as it plays a very critical role for actually transferring the energy of this entire device, which I'll get into momentarily with the focalizers. So, the aspect of these focalizer crystals play a critical role as well. So, I'm on the figure 8 of this entire little device. These guys are the focus of the energy grounded into the primary wire to give a sharper focus broadcast of the emanation. Kind of like so, for example, this buddy back here, my tree buddy. To take the excess energy, give it a stronger directional focus current, like so. Which consists of titanium aura quartz seen right here, which is a product of modern alchemical engineering, where it's actually been pressure bonded in a vacuum, is titanium to clear quartz. So titanium aura quartz has a very powerful full rainbow light activation as well, and also is very strengthening to the subtle energies of the auric field, which makes it a very empowering crystal, as well as very shielding for any kind of negative vibrations, quite simply. Once again, also in the application of lightblade 1, it works to really strengthen the focus of the neutrality of the clear quartz seen right here. And so, like mentioned long ago at this point, clear quartz, much like right here, is the most neutral ambient energy projection accelerant of other frequencies around it, including the prayers of the wielder, as well as the entire crystalline collective group seen here in this little crystalline entity, which gives a distinct sharper focus of energy for the entire broadcast. And that would be the entirety of the crystalline composition finally notarized about 32 minutes later. It was a little guy, but I knew there'd be much to discuss to be very thorough. So, comprehensively, this is a very dynamic full light body activator, obviously with many different variables in the entire construct that work as a collective whole. But primarily it's developed, of course, to be very, very clearing of energies and to maintain one's highest sovereign truth. And yeah, that would basically sum it up, I suppose. Well, I guess 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.